Okay, guys. First of all, I want to say that this chapter was definitely saved. And it's going to make sense once I really get into it, because I got a lot to talk about in this new Black Clover chapter. So just sit back and relax and let's get right into it. So the chapter actually opens up where we saw last week, where our boy Asta just went scream on Lucifero and chopped him up into a million pieces. However, just like we said before, even in the previous spoilers, I didn't really think that Lucifero was done just yet. And it's right here where we see our two heroes, Asta and Libe. You know, they're standing over Lucifero very victoriously. And our boy Lucifero just has a nervous breakdown. He screams super loud and he uses his gravity magic to essentially do the same thing he did when he first came out of the underworld. And he uses, I believe this is Presence of the Demon King, and we see Libe. Sorry guys, almost butchered the name. But we see Libe and Asta pretty much on the ground. Then we see Lucifero kind of like morphing himself back together. And what was weird about this whole thing, and maybe it's going to be explained a little bit better when the scans come out, I cannot figure out why Lucifero just didn't fuse himself back together instantly. Something was stopping him. Obviously, maybe it was Asta's anti-magic, which hindered him. But we see our boy Asta still showing his good durability. He's coming right back up from it. He stands on his 2 feet. Our boy Lucifero, he's even more pissed off. And we even see Yami and Noct. Now, I have a feeling that for some reason, Noct's magic along with Yami's magic, I was kind of like pausing for a second. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Noct has shadow magic. Yami has dark magic. I know, guys, I've been reviewing this manga for almost like 2.5 to 3 years now, but I just had to just like remind myself, because sometimes with shadow magic and dark magic can really just, especially when you're reading through the pages, you're like, hold up, which one has which again? But I think his shadow magic is actually eating away at his body. So it's pretty interesting. We also see Lucifero kind of having this screaming just rampage. And we see Asta and Libe. This is actually from a previous panel before, but I'm not exactly too sure. It's just like an inner monologue between Asta and Libe, pretty much saying to themselves, like, we got to take this dude out now. Now, we thought that Asta did it with those slashes, but Lucifero, like, his durability is just insane. But if you really look in the back of this panel where you see Lucifero's head, you actually see one of Yuno's stars behind him. And so that is when we actually get like a pretty good like combination spell. And of course, we just had the 1v1, which is something that you don't really see a lot in Black Clover. And hopefully, they'll kind of balance it out in the future where you get about it kind of having those one-on-one fights and those teamwork fights. Because at the end of the day, our boy Lucifero, look, he may have just got soloed by Asta, but he is a monster. He still is, the Demon King. And we got to put some respect on his name. And I'm not saying we got to hold him in high esteem, but yeah, he still needs some work getting put down. That's when we see our boy Noct, Yami, Asta, and Yuno, along with Libe, putting in that work. And to make a long story short, guys, you guys are eventually going to see it in the final panels. But I also wanted to show Lucifero's face right here. I'm not exactly too sure if he's calling out to Adramelech in this panel. But I can't wait for the scans to come out because, yeah, I think he knows that he's pretty much like getting eaten away. And maybe right here he's trying to retreat. I don't know. Like maybe it isn't actually shadow magic, but he's trying to, go back to the underworld. And we actually see our boy Yuno. People were making jokes about Yuno, but Yuno comes in handy because literally, like, you see his finger pointing at Lucifero and you see the star. And I know I spoke about it in the previous panel, but right here you can really see it. And our boy Asta, like, let's just reveal it to you guys. He appears right behind Lucifero, right on Lucifero's dome. And he's bringing down the iconic first sword that Asta ever got when he first started this journey. Man, it's just so great to see. Like, this is the one thing I would say. Yuki Tabata, he did a great job with this. Like, he really did. Because this is so iconic. It reminds me of the Veto fight where, we could just imagine, like, the theme song of Black Clover playing. And Asta just comes out of nowhere with, star magic. He just lets Lucifero have it right on his dome. He cuts Lucifero's head right in half. And it's just amazing to see. Do I think Lucifero's done after this? Most likely. It's just, I'm going to speak about one problem with Black Clover, and I'm going to have to be really honest with you guys. We have yet to see an iconic villain like of the levels of Aizen or Madara that has been set up since the beginning, and maybe we just haven't seen it yet. Like, maybe this is something that Yuki Tabata has been foreshadowing for a long time, and when he finally does reveal the final villain, or maybe like the series of villains is going to lead to the final villain, it's going to make more sense. Because if I kind of could think about it with Naruto, you know, we had the Akatsuki, and then you had Pain, and then, you know, you had Madara, who was behind literally the whole thing. Like, so granted, Yuki Tabata is probably going this route as well. You know, we don't always need to see who the final villain is before we get to, you know, the meat and potatoes of the series. But it's nice to kind of have it, because granted, when I was reading these spoilers and I'm like, Lucifero's defeated, but it just seems so empty. Like, it just seems so just like, yeah, it's cool to see an amazing fight, but it's like, where is the monologue? I know that, you know, Black Clover fans, we love this series, but at the end of the day, guys, we have to have a main villain. And Lucifero was really, to be honest with you guys, essentially just brought up in this series, meaning that, for example, when we go back to, I believe it was around chapter 280, that's when Nock does reveal that, okay, you know, Lucifero, he is like the big baddie. Matter of fact, it might not be 280, guys. I'm sorry if I butchered that, but it might not be 280. It might be a little bit recent than that. But, you know, Nock, he does reveal that Lucifero is the big baddie, and if he gets out, 90% of the population will die. I didn't even think that we would actually even see Lucifero like this quickly in the series, especially during this arc. But look, I'm going to tell you who saved this whole chapter, because I'm going to be honest with you guys. If it ended just like that, I would have to give this chapter like a 5 out of 10. What saved this chapter was literally Adramelech. His face and everything is literally just, he doesn't even have a care in the world, but he's actually happy to see Lucifero get defeated. He doesn't even look worried about what Asta just pulled out of his bag. Like, literally, he just, you know, kind of looking at that was like, all right, well, that's cool. It's cool how you took down Lucifero, but hey, I mean, hey, you know, you did what you're supposed to do. Like, he's just clapping, he's smiling. Like, he's just, almost like everything is just a joke to him. So, yes, he saved this chapter, guys, because I'm going to have to be real. If this is how this chapter was going to end, it was definitely not going to get a high rating from me. And I know that some Black Clover fans as of late has been expressing kind of like concern over the power scaling. My concern is not over the power scaling. My concern is that we need a great villain to give the heroes a run for their money, and not just physically, but like mentally. Because yes, Lucifero was like a powerhouse, but he didn't really give our heroes a run for their money, like mentally. We need a villain that's going to mentally get over on our heroes for a very long time in the series, until finally at the end, he is defeated, or she is defeated. However Yuki Tabata decides to take it. But anyway, I'm going to give this chapter an 8 out of 10, because without Adramelech, it would have been a 5. I love Yuki Tabata, and I know he puts in a lot of work, but bruh, stop having villains being revealed and then killed within literally like 10 chapters. Like, we need a long-lasting villain, and we have yet to have that in this series. Some Black Clover fans might not like what I have to say, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm on a Discord full of Black Clover fans and even content creators for Black Clover, and that is our greatest concern with this series, that if there isn't a long-running villain, we can't consider it top 5 manga right now, because you need a long-running villain for a long-running manga series, especially a great villain. But anyway, that does it for me tonight, guys. Make sure if you're new, subscribe, and as always, have a wonderful day, and peace.